My first impressions of the new Sonic Frontiers update is that I absolutely freaking despised it. I'm gonna be completely honest. It isn't because it did something wrong or something like that. I just felt like it was a little too difficult, or in other cases, not well developed. As you can see here, I'm dying a bunch. This is like 4 times, 8 times speed or something like that. I don't know, but I am dying a bunch. And I feel like that's more just the developers' fault, because some of these challenges, they didn't feel like they were developed properly. With the one that you're seeing on screen right now, I was supposed to hit a button and then home attack onto something, but after a couple seconds that something would disappear, and I either wasn't given enough momentum to run off the platform, or it would disappear before I could homing attack onto it. And that was the same challenge on after this part, at least. Once I get to this part, I have to do it again, but I have to hit 2 buttons, and I have to make sure that the first one is pressed so I can make the first I can jump off the first spring and hit the second one. But if I didn't get the first one, I'd fall to my death. And I just had to keep going back and forth because the first button would just disappear, or the first spring would go back to normal as if I hadn't pressed it, because its time wasn't long enough. And I just felt like this update wasn't like made properly. I didn't feel like they play tested everything properly. I felt like the base game was better, but I wouldn't say it was perfect. This is worse in my opinion. I remember when I first beat the main game, I gave it 8 out of 10. And now I haven't played that original game in a little while. This is the new update that I'm playing, and this I'd give at best a 5 out of 10, because at least it isn't buggy, but it isn't exactly the best experience of my life. And with the multiple characters that I did play, their gameplay mechanics weren't bad, it's just they weren't easy to get used to, because some basic abilities that were required for progression I didn't know I had to unlock, so some missions just simply were left impossible. And as you will see in later footage, I encounter some challenges that required an ability I just didn't know I needed. Okay, I did the freaking upgrade thingy because I'm assuming, I don't even know. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. The Psy-Knuckle. Do I need the Psy-Knuckle? I'm about to get the Psy-Knuckle. I have 4 freaking I gotta do all that all over again. I hate this game. As I just showed you, I took probably, well, I didn't show you this, but I took probably an hour and a half to simply complete this one challenge, and afterward I basically gave up due to the fact that I just simply wasn't having fun. It was too difficult by my standard, and I don't think it was difficult because of good level design just being made difficult because there was high challenge. I think it was made difficult due to poor level design, because if we were to examine what I'm trying to do here, there's a bunch of lasers and I'm supposed to homing attack these little rocks that are coming down or something like that to get up to the top platform. The thing is, every time I homing attack onto one of them, they're always right next to a laser, so then I get hit, and because I can't recover from getting hit by a laser, I just fall to my death, which makes it extremely difficult. And there was an easier way to do this, I just simply wanted to rush through and didn't do it, which the easier way was to simply slowly climb up the wall and freaking homing attack one of the higher up rocks, and then homing attack the things creating the rocks, which made it a lot more easier. But as you can see right now, that still led to trial and error, as right now I'm trying that, but it's still failing and still ending up way more difficult than it truly needs to be. And I didn't play too much, and I didn't really invest myself into the story because it didn't really make that much sense, I'm sorry. But it still didn't feel like a genuinely great experience. It felt annoying and difficult. And at the end of the video, I'll show you a bunch of clips of me just simply getting mad. I literally brought up a Joy-Con grip thingy because I was about to throw it. I was getting extremely mad, and this has probably been the longest I had stayed on one part of any video game besides maybe God of War. That took me like a day or so. This, I recorded the entire trial and error, and it took me so damn long. I had an absolutely miserable time, but as you can see, I eventually did it, and now I'm playing as Tails in this footage, which I simply eventually just didn't want to play as Tails anymore because it got really annoying, and I was tired. I didn't want to deal with this game anymore. No. Okay. What the? If I made that, bro. What just happened? I'm about to freaking, oh my god. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I'm just kind of going with the flow. This game sucks. Okay, this new update sucks ass. I'm gonna play this right now if I had to be so honest. You know, man? I might need to take things slow and let the blood inside me flow. Let me get on the wall. Let me get on the wall without freaking hitting it. Dude! As you saw there, I was struggling a lot, and there were some things that I could interact with on the walls, but it's simply because I didn't know how to interact with them or the ability I needed. I never interacted with them, which led to me having a more confusing and probably more difficult time. And now I could probably go back and check what those things were that I needed to interact with on the walls, but now, right now, as of now, I don't freaking know, or I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, and I only was able to do it after so long because I checked the abilities I needed to obtain. I feel like they should have just either A, not had a skill tree and just let us have all the abilities, or at least most of them, not all, but most of them, if they were required for progression. So that's something that was in the main game, where not all the abilities were required to do everything. As far as I'm sure, there wasn't a single moment where I required an ability to do something in the game that I hadn't had unlocked, or me not having that ability unlocked. Now, I could have either been more, I would have had more time to unlock those abilities, henceforth I would go ahead and do so. So maybe, put those abilities that are required when I get upgrades later in the game, so that, it's more likely for me to have already obtained that ability. And other than that, it was just really difficult. As you can see in this clip right here, I don't even know if I was doing that right, where I was bouncing off the walls and everything like that. I didn't know if I was doing that correctly. I was just abusing the abilities incorrectly, hoping that I would get through properly. And overall, I just don't feel like everything's working properly or doing stuff correctly in this game, or at least with this new update. And I hope it's just me that's having a problem with this. I've seen other people say that the new update is just difficult rather than being absolutely freaking broken, in my opinion. But I feel like at the same time, maybe it is just me, or maybe it's just bad development. And I want to look at this as objectively as possible. I feel like Sonic Team, no offense to them, aren't the standard type of video game studio. Same with most of Nintendo. I would say Sega and Nintendo, or at least Sonic Team and Nintendo, are quite primitive studios. I don't think they've used a single bit of motion capture, at least not Sonic Team, since the early 2000s at all, and generally modern techniques for more modern releases. I feel like they're still quite primitive, and with that, they use less modern techniques for developing games, which could lead to less advanced gameplay. Plus, these guys are kinda inexperienced with how to make a game like this. So maybe it could lead to more problems during development, which, as you saw, with me at least, clearly was a problem. Now, this all could just be me, and this all could be subjective, but when the director of this game is saying that this gameplay style is likely and hopefully the same gameplay style that they're using for Sonic Adventure 3, or at least that's what the director said, then that gets me worried if they're making stuff like this, because in my opinion, this isn't great, this isn't perfect, but it isn't terrible, okay? It's manageable. If you really want to do it, you can, but seeing how Sonic is more and more directed toward 10-year-olds and stuff like that, I see that gameplay like this being imperfect and not exactly that easy could be hard, or could lead to worse games overall, as Mario games aren't ever crazy difficult and they consistently review well, because not really difficult games are way more accessible. So that is the easy and soft route, but they're taking a much more harder and difficult route. And I don't want to see the next Sonic Adventure game to end up like this game. Not saying that it's bad. Now, like I said, the director of this game said that this is the type of gameplay style that they are hoping they'll use when they make Sonic Adventure 3, or if they do, which gets me worried because so far what they're doing with the new stuff isn't as good as the base game. So who knows if this will actually be executed properly to give us a worthy Sonic Adventure 3. Now, this all could just be maybe because the development team has been cut so far down, because, well, the rest of this team is probably working on the next Sonic game while this small portion is working on this game, which, because it's just such a small portion, they weren't exactly perfect for a job like this. But who knows, maybe they have everything under control and maybe this is just a fluke, or maybe, like I said at the beginning, this is all just me going crazy. This game could be perfectly fine and it's just me who just sucks at this game. Who knows? And I'm the type of person that have very low patience with the game. If the game starts getting bullcrap, I'ma stop playing it, okay? For example, my cousin loves, how do I put this? He is more resilient with games compared to me. He's more willing to be stuck at one position for a long ass time rather than me, okay? He played God of War, he beat the new game plus of God of War and God of War mode. I would never do that, okay? I don't have the patience to do all of that, and he said it took him literally ages, okay? Forever. And that makes sense because it's a difficult challenge to do something like that. I couldn't have done it if it was me. Let's be completely honest. I wouldn't have even bothered playing the game. I would think the game is garbage due to it being too difficult. I don't have the resilience for that. So maybe he'll have a perfectly fine time with this game. My cousin still loves God of War no matter how difficult it got. I can't relate, if I had to be completely honest. But besides that, who freaking knows? Also, if you guys were wondering why I wasn't able to upload a video last week, it's because I was in California in Super Nintendo World at Universal Hollywood Studios, which was really small. I didn't really like it, but the Mario part I freaking loved. The rest of the park was too small for my liking. But back to the important part. What would I say this DLC is via my first impressions? Now, I played for probably like an hour or two, or an hour and a half, probably. So if I had to give my best educated opinion, I would say it is probably like a freaking 6 or 5 out of 10. It isn't great in my opinion. I didn't have a lot more fun, and it could just be the beginning. Maybe the later parts of the game gets better. I don't know. This is a first impression, so take everything with a grain of salt. And I know I have my own very specific opinions, so if you don't agree with them, leave it down below in the comments, and I'll see if maybe I should put this into someone else's perspective rather than just mine. And I don't really have much else to say because, well, I don't really know what else to say. But yeah, I didn't have an amazing time, so take that into consideration whenever you want to do this. Anyway, guys, I don't really got much else to say like I just stated, but hope you guys had fun. I definitely did. Next time, I have literally no clue what I'm doing. I don't really want to play any games because, well, I don't really have any other game that I feel like would be fun to play besides me uploading old footage of me playing the Crew Motorfest, which I never uploaded. Like, I have like probably 3 hours of footage that I just never uploaded, not because it was bad footage, but because I simply was about to leave for Hollywood, so I needed to get ready for that, obviously. But, you know, I got a lot of other stuff I can upload, but I don't know what I will upload. But yeah, I don't have the Crew Motorfest. That was just the demo footage, but I will get it as soon as possible. But hey, Spider-Man comes out next month, halfway through next month, I believe, so that is a lot of video that you guys will be able to get. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing anytime soon. I might come back to Plants vs. Zombies. I might go back to some Mario Kart Wii. I have not played that game in a decent while by my standards. So who knows what I'm doing next time. But anyway, guys, hope you guys had fun. I definitely did. Not playing this game, obviously, but still. See you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day.